you might have noticed something suspicious about my YouTube videos. Or ideally, if I've been doing a good job, then you've been too entertained to notice. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Every one of my YouTube videos is structured the exact same way. And that structure, that secret sauce, is what has allowed me to go from getting on average 3,000 to 5,000 views per video in like the first week or so to hitting over 10K, over 20K, and in some cases even more views per video in the first week. It's allowed my channel to reach a new level of success when it comes to viewership, which I'm super happy about because, to be honest, for the past little while I've been feeling kind of insecure about the number of subscribers I have compared to the number of views that I was getting. So I'm feeling really good that I've been able to kind of reach back out to y'all again and show up on your home pages, and this structure that I'm going to talk about is why. For bonus points, if you think you already know what my secret sauce, what my video structure is, then comment it down below before you keep watching so we can check back in and see if you were right. Otherwise, I'm about to tell you, so keep on watching. But for real though, I'm gonna need some caffeine before we dive into the info. The perfect structure for a viral YouTube video actually starts long before you start filming your video at all. It all begins with your title and thumbnail. If you can't even get people to click on your video, then it really doesn't matter how awesome the content is because they're not gonna watch it. I start planning every one of my YouTube videos by coming up with a compelling title first. Usually I know what the concept or the main takeaway of the video is going to be, but generally when I come up with the idea for the video, that is like inherently tied to a title because it's so important that your title is going to be something that is attention grabbing and that very quickly portrays to your potential viewer what you're going to talk about. The kind of sad thing is that there's really no point in creating a video for YouTube if you don't have a blow your socks off title from the get-go. It is very hard to kind of reverse engineer a good title. You kind of want to know from the get-go what your concept is going to be and how you're going to grab your audience's attention. At the same time, it is absolutely essential that whatever you talk about in your video is honestly portrayed by your title. You cannot be dealing in the realm of clickbait because your viewers are going to get annoyed with you. Once you've got a really compelling title and a great idea for your video, next you need to thoroughly and intentionally plan out that video. And here is my secret to doing that. I have a template for it. This template is how I structure every single one of my YouTube scripts. I've got prompts and instructions in there to remind myself to include certain strategies or certain approaches to making the video as engaging as it possibly can be. I put this template in place a few months back now and I've been using it ever since, and I really credit the shift in my channel's success to using this template and really thinking through all of the strategies for capturing attention, keeping people engaged, and providing value, and making sure not to skip over that in any one of my videos. To explain this, I want to walk you through my template in action so you can see how I plan a successful YouTube video. Specifically, we're going to be looking through the video that I made about how to become a full-time content creator, which performed really well for me. Okay, so this is what one of my content items in my Notion content calendar looks like when you open it up. I've just got my video title here and then a bunch of fields. It's not really important. So we'll just scroll down and get into the actual template. Okay, so to kick it off, I like to start planning my videos by coming up with some alternative title concepts. Really, when I plan a video, like I was saying, I usually have a title in mind that I think sounds really catchy and will really hook in the potential viewer. But I think it's a good creative exercise to try to brainstorm other options, because as you're thinking about it, you might just come up with an angle that is even more interesting than your original idea. So that's what I do first, and then eventually I'm going to land on one of them. Once I've really solidified exactly what the angle or the concept of the video is gonna be, I write that down just to be very clear about it, so that if I am working on scripts like this over like multiple weeks, like I won't necessarily do this all in one sitting. then I have a nice little reminder here to myself of what the plan for the video is, and it makes sure that everything else that I plan afterwards is going to be in alignment with that. Okay, now we get into our story outline. So in the case of this video, it was kind of like a B story in a way. It was like visuals that was accompanying the overall video. But I think this is a really good exercise when you're planning your YouTube videos to think about what story you can tell while you're providing information. In the case of this one about how to become a full-time creator, the story that I was telling was about someone who wants to grow their creator business completely from scratch. And the way that I portrayed that visually was I showed myself waking up one day with 0 followers. And then the idea was from there I would figure out what to do next, and it kind of followed me through those stages. And so while I am telling the viewer, here's what you can do to become a full-time content creator from scratch, I'm simultaneously showing myself going on that journey. So it just kind of adds an extra level of visual interest and engagement to the video when you have that simultaneous storyline. It doesn't always have to be so obvious. Like in this case, it's the literal point of the video, just acted out kind of in a narrative style. But I think that even if you aren't going to have a very explicit storyline in your video, it can be good to think about, you know, your character as your viewer and kind of ask yourself what's their desire to get out of this video, what are the obstacles they're facing, what are the stakes, because even just addressing those in your script when you're talking to your viewer can help with that emotional buy-in. So the point of this section is to structure a story around the concept of your video, or at the very least, figure out how your viewer fits into that story and then speak to that really specifically to get them engaged. And then of course, any story is going to have a resolution, or if it's a more of an educational video, it's kind of like your final takeaway. So in the case of my video about becoming a full-time creator, the resolution was if you're committed to the right strategies and you stay consistent and persevere, being a full-time content creator is attainable. It's important that you think these pieces through, because I think otherwise it can be really easy to come up with an idea for a YouTube video that is not fully formed, and then all of a sudden you're filming and you're talking through your points, but you haven't really considered what the conclusion is or what people are supposed to take away from it. So the point of this first section of the template is really for you to get clear on what your concept is, what kind of story you're going to tell through the video, and then what the takeaway is, what you want people to leave the video now knowing. Moving down to the rest of my template, we start to get a little bit more practical. I start off with some thumbnail ideas. So you can see here I've sourced some screenshots from some iconic YouTubers, truly, that, you know, I look up to. I think they've done good thumbnails, and as I was thinking about what I wanted my thumbnail to look like, these were the types of concepts that came to mind for me. And so I kind of just screenshotted them and threw them down here so that later I could return to that when I was filming the video to grab the necessary still images. I ended up going more so with the Catherine Manning example here, partly because Matt Diavella is just next level, and trying to like do that kind of an overhead shot would have been hard. The point of this is not to copy other people's thumbnails, because ultimately mine ended up looking a lot different than this, but it kind of gives you a starting point of what a potential like visual representation of your video could be. And I really, really recommend thinking through your thumbnail before you start filming so that you can grab a still that will suit your video, and then of course edit it later to be a good thumbnail. Now we get into the actual script. Basically the way I structure my YouTube scripts is one column is for the actual script, what I'm going to say, and then one column is for the visuals. So one strategy for keeping your viewers engaged throughout your video is including B-roll, and I really try to do that as much as I can in my videos in a way that's not distracting, and that adds to the information. So as I'm writing my script, as I'm thinking of potential visual ways to represent what I'm talking about in the video, I will add notes about that to my column here so that I remember to go and take those shots later. Now, in addition to my 2 columns for script and visuals, my outline is also divided into 3 sections: the opening, the body, and then if we scroll down here, the outro. It's really, really important that your intro is really, really well thought out and quick and interesting and gives a teaser of the value that you're gonna provide later. What we really want to avoid is just opening up the video and saying, hi, today I'm going to talk about YouTube strategy or whatever. Like, you wanna try to give some kind of interesting teaser that gets people invested in your video. So I always script that out word for word. When we get into the body, you can see I have a lot more bullet points, and that's because I like to write things out. This one's even more scripted than I normally would do. I like to write things out to a certain extent, but then also leave room for ad-libbing and, you know, just delivering my thoughts off the cuff, because then it comes across as a little bit more natural. And it's also quicker to do than writing out word for word exactly what you're going to record. But I think it's kind of a preference thing. It just depends on how you feel about ad-libbing to the camera, or if you would feel more confident with a complete script. And then finally, like I was saying, we've got an outro. So at this point, I write what the end of the video is going to be, and then I always try to segue into another one of my videos to keep you all watching. So I'll point out something at the end screen and kind of push you to watch more of my content, because all of that is important to getting my video to be served in the YouTube algorithm. Using this outline on all of the videos that I make for my channel has been a total game changer, and I'm so passionate about sharing this with other people, because I feel like a lot of the videos that you see out there about how to get more views and how to grow your channel are really focused on kind of like hacks and optimization that you can do after the fact in order to get your video more views. Like adding lots of tags or putting keywords in the description or making your title really keyword rich. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with those things, but I really do believe that if the video that you make isn't that interesting, there's no amount of SEO optimization you can do to grow your channel with that content. It's really, really important that the content is just good from the start. And so I designed this template to really help me stay accountable to all of these principles and strategies that help you make the most engaging video that you can. And of course, you know that your girl wanted to make this template available for you too. So here's a quick look at the one that I put together. It's now available on my website. You can see that there's a section for you to create your title ideas, just like I showed you in my own template, spot for your video concept, your story outline, and a place to write the resolution of your story. I also have a section for comment goals. This is actually something that I learned from Film Booth. Shout out to him and his channel. It's a really great channel for YouTubers to learn some of these concepts. And something he introduced me to was the idea of kind of writing down what you would like your potential viewer to comment, like what sort of comments that you're hoping to get, and that can help you shape the content of your outline. So I don't personally fill this out every single time, but I do think it can be something good to think about, so I've included it in this outline. Of course, we have a spot for thumbnail ideas, including my kind of prompt that I have written down in my own outline to always remind me to use different text than the title to generate curiosity, and a reminder to really think of your thumbnail as like the opening sentence of the story that is your YouTube video. I've got a section for your opening with some prompts and instructions about how to do that well. And of course, we have a section for the body of your video, which I normally include between 3 and 4 talking points. And then of course, a section for the visuals. And then finally, an outro that is going to get your viewers to watch more of your videos. So that is my formula. That is my secret sauce for creating videos that are really engaging and get lots of views. So you can grab that Notion template for yourself at the link in the description. It's for sale on my website. Though of course, if you are trying to be frugal about it, you could also just look at the video that I literally just showed you and create the template for yourself. It's totally up to you, but I've made it really easy for you to just grab the template from my website. Now, if you're ready to dive in and grow your YouTube channel and you're feeling excited about scripting these videos using this format, but you're feeling less than confident about the editing side of things, then I've got you covered, my friend, because if you didn't know, I actually have a social media content creation agency called Creatorly Media, and we work with people like you to produce their YouTube content. So if you want help with editing your YouTube videos, Creatorly's YouTube services are also going to be linked in the description, so you can go check out what that looks like. We do editing, but we also do YouTube strategy and channel management if you're looking for the whole package. So all of that is over on the website. we'd love to help you out. And if you want to learn more totally for free about how to make your vlogs specifically more engaging and more effective and get more views, then check out this video I made about the biggest mistakes that a lot of beginner vloggers are making and how to fix them. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.